What are those? The CRJ-700, American's worst jet. Unfortunately, I had no choice but to fly this particular plane back to Pittsburgh, but I did happen to get upgraded to first class. So will that make any difference on this awful metal bird? Let's find out. Okay, in a normal Jazz Guy video, this would be the point I'd do some sort of time-lapse or montage, but this morning I literally had no time as I just hopped off a flight from Anchorage and immediately have to head to gate G17 as my Pittsburgh flight is already boarding. My CRJ-700 today is not this one, but the one behind it, N614SK, which has just passed 20 years of age as of me editing this video. It's actually spent the majority of its life flying for Delta under Atlantic Southeast Airlines and SkyWest before being switched over to American Eagle in 2020. Concourse G at O'Hare is part of American's Terminal 3 and is the airline's regional jetty, which means it is small and crowded. Thankfully, I did not have to stay here long at all. As soon as I got to the gate, I said my goodbyes to Justin for an awesome trip, and I boarded.
Oh no, this one. Oh, is this going on like underneath?
Yes.
Okay.
Since the CRJ-700 has tiny overhead bins that fill up quickly, I unfortunately did not make it in time, so under the plane my bag will go. "2A will be my lovely seat on this puddle jumper, a plane with a grand total of 65 seats between 3 classes, 9 up here in first, 16 making up main cabin extra, and 40 being main cabin seats. I will say, compared to PSA Airlines product on their CRJ-700, SkyWest's here does look a bit better. Warping back up to my seat, legroom is okay for first class. In front is where the safety card can be found inside a fairly large seat back pocket. And moving up, that's about it on the seat back, literally. Seats up here in first are honestly pretty comfy though, even having a decently sized adjustable headrest. On the left side of the single first class seat is a drink table, and the tray table is located inside the armrest. The other armrest is where the recline button is, and it can fold up. Surprisingly, I found a universal power outlet and USB port down below between the wall and the seat, although I tried it later on and it did not work. Like I said, overhead bins on the CRJ-700 are very tiny, and well, quite unfortunately, another con is these windows. Can you possibly scratch these anymore?
Before coming to the cabin, for final safety and face mask check, now more than ever, we do appreciate you choosing American. Sit back, relax, and enjoy your flight. sitting on AA.com and earn miles for today's flight.
Chicago to Pittsburgh is a very short flight, especially going eastbound as we're with the wind. So as soon as we got up over Lake Michigan, the service up here in first class commenced. How the CRJ-700 works is one flight attendant assigned to the 9 first-class passengers up front throughout the flight, while the aft FA takes care of the rest of the cabin, which does provide for a more personalized and prioritized service up here. Once she did come by my seat, I was left with everything on this tray. A bag of almonds, cashews, and peanuts, a bag of savory snack mix, and a can of Coke with a cup of ice. Honestly, at the time, I literally expected nothing, as a few of my prior longer first-class experiences on American gave nothing. So to get 2 snacks and a drink was actually nice on a short flight. I know to some of you that's probably still pathetic, but these days, anything half decent I'll accept. Obviously, can't do a CRJ video without showing the lavatory. There's only one, and it's in the back. However, the space is actually very good. Sure, it's showing its age and the water smelled a bit funky, but hey, I'll take the extra room to move around. Definitely. Walking back to my seat and looking how many people are on board this morning, I noticed pretty much every seat is filled. I also was actually kind of surprised American put this plane on this route, as it's usually operated by E-175s, A319s, and 737s. If you look up ORD-PIT today in 2022, I guarantee you will not find any of these old CRJs anymore. Like all of American's fleet though, they too have Wi-Fi and free entertainment on board, accessed by clicking AA in-flight in settings. Yes, we do in fact have 10 minutes remaining, so I'll make this IFE tour very quick. Up top, you can see time remaining and destination weather. Wi-Fi prices are just below that. $10 for this flight, which kinda doesn't even make any sense, if you ask me. And finally, movies and TV shows are at the bottom. As usual on AA, quite a substantial collection of content available to watch. I have to wonder if anyone actually finished anything on this flight though, with how short it is. 8 minutes to go now, and yes, the familiar green rolling hills of Western PA are starting to appear. Well, with that thud, this Barrow trip has come to a close. So, in this video, I've said that the first class seat is comfy, there's a power outlet and a USB port, the lav is roomy, service was good, and there's Wi-Fi and free entertainment on board. So is the CRJ-700 really that bad? Is it the worst American jet in their large fleet? Yes, without question. I've now flown this plane 3 times with American, and only the CRJ-200 is worse. And well, American retired that plane, so yes, this plane is by far the worst. It's old, cramped, tiny, lacking any decent bag space up top, making passengers wait after deboarding to retrieve them, has horribly scratched windows on literally all these CRJs, and well, I'll leave it at that. But it's just not a good experience flying this regional jet. First class does make it a bit better, and I will say I did really like having the single seat to myself, but I don't think that's enough to justify everything else. We did make it here safe and sound though, which is what matters in the end. Back in good old Pennsyltucky. This little joint, by the way, is called Mission Barbecue. Highly recommended. They're mainly around DC and Baltimore, but if you do pass one, gotta try it. That'll conclude this video though. Can't wait till the next Alaska trip. But maybe as some of you comment below, a winter visit would be interesting. Hope you all enjoyed this CRJ-700 flight. Thank you very much for watching, and catch you on the next one.